What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Anthony Joshua and Oleksandr Usyk. Anthony Joshua was asked what danger Oleksandr Usyk poses, and he quoted, "None. I fear none of them. He don't bring me nothing I ain't seen before." Those are the words of Anthony Joshua. And let me counterpunch. Throughout this morning, I've been looking at footage of Joshua in comparison with Southpaws. And two big names come to mind. One, the Olympics. We have Camarelli, where he fought him for the super middleweight title, and that was one tough fight. And let me tell you, a lot of people, felt that Joshua lost that fight. And because it was in Great Britain, they felt, well, hey, no, he got the nod because it was in Great Britain. Well, me watching the Olympics, I think it was in the third round of that fight, Camarelli really gave Anthony Joshua where he got him in the corner and he was welling on him. I would give you guys footage, but it's Olympics, so I don't want to get, copyright striked or whatever. So I'm going to hold off on that unless I could find some on down, and then I'll share it with you. But I mean, that was a tough fight for him, even though Camarelli is a super heavyweight, which, that's what he was ranked as. That's how he was categorized, super heavyweight title. But remember, another southpaw that was the heavyweight gold was Oleksandr Usyk, okay? And that's who he's going to fight. So Camarelli is a southpaw. He's more of a brawler style, but he has good footwork. So he's a good counterer to be a brawler. He's not necessarily a Derek Chisora, but he had skill and he beat Anthony Joshua before. So he had the skills to do it at that time, and they had a tough fight. I think Joshua's main attributes was his hook and his jab, okay? And I think he should have utilized the right hand more in that particular fight. But, of course, that was the amateurs, so you can't look at that too much. But that is experience with him as a southpaw, okay? And the other the other factor that sticks out is Charles Martin. Charles Martin was untested, okay? He beat and he won the IBF due to a injury. That fight that was like 2 rounds and the fight was over. And the irony of that was, in like 2 rounds, the fight was over when he went to defend the title against Anthony Joshua. And I seen he learned a lot from either Otto Wallin, because he did spar with Otto Wallin, which is another southpaw fighter. And I think he learned how to counter. The pull counter was very effective in that bout with Charles Martin. Now, the question you ask yourself is Oleksandr Usyk more advanced than Camarelli or Charles Martin? And I would have to say, yes, he is. The only factor that you run into is his size, okay? But you're over 200 pounds. Now he's 230, so he's 30 pounds over the limit. So looking at Oleksandr Usyk, you wonder what has happened to his speed, because we've seen guys like Deontay Wilder, and it's definitely affected his speed in that factor by gaining weight. So we have to see about that. But saying that Usyk hasn't, he hasn't had anything that he's seen before, or I think he misunderstood the question, because he doesn't bring nothing I ain't seen. I don't think he's been in there with a southpaw slick as Usyk. I don't. I would be very impressed, like I told you guys, that Joshua goes in there and knocks out Usyk the way he knocked out somebody like Charles Martin. And then if he does do something like that, I think he won't get the respect for it, because people are going to say, like White, like Wilder, these guys, they're going to say, well, he didn't belong there anyway. He was a cruiserweight. But I think he does belong there. And I think he does pose a threat to Anthony Joshua, just like Camarelli did, okay? If we look at guys like Andy Ruiz, all you have to do is stun Joshua, hit him in the right place, just like any heavyweight, and then bombard him with punches, Now, fair play to Joshua. He did survive that onslaught in the Olympics. And because if you really think about it, if that would have been in Italy, they probably would have stopped it. Okay, because that was a lot, because what's the fighter's name that beat Evgeny, right? Romanov Evgeny did that to Wilder. But Wilder was dropped a couple times. So, Joshua at least held his own to get out of that corner, but he was getting mauled with that left hand. Okay, so we seen him improve, but how much did he improve versus a guy that is slick as Oleksandr Usyk? Because Usyk is one slick customer, and I think at the end of the day, he's saying, hey, he hasn't bring anything I haven't seen. Basically, I think that he may be overlooking Usyk, and I think he's underestimating the footwork that Usyk possessed, because I don't think he's ever been in there with a guy with that type of footwork. And then, Otto Vailene, even though Otto Vailene is not as big, but he's like 6'3", 6'4", coming from somebody, because he fought Dominic Brazil, which was a lot bigger, okay? But Usyk is a couple inches shorter than him, and he's been in there, because there's a big difference between 6'3" and 6'5" and 6, right? You know what I mean? So, you think you're tall until you get you come up with a guy that's taller. But him saying that I fear none of them. Yeah, you fear none of them. That has nothing to do with posing a threat or a danger. A punch is a danger, okay? That's how I had to get him. I had to counterpunch him. Oh, look, you say, I don't fear any of them. You don't supposed to fear anybody. But you have to be, but pose, and what danger? The danger is those fists. Him catching you with a punch you don't see, because it's not, I don't think Usyk is the kind of guy that hits you with punches that you can't necessarily take. It's the punch that you don't see that he throws is the punch that's going to hurt you. Okay, so that's basically anybody. Again, over 200 pounds. You're not necessarily calling Usyk a pillow puncher with pillow fists or whatever. He is a decent puncher, but he throws punches in bunches. So if he ever hurts Joshua with one of those clean shots and stuns him, he can hit him with 3 or 4 or 5, just like Andy Ruiz did. And this is coming from a southpaw stance, and he's good at slipping over punches, slipping under the right hand, coming back with his own right hook and left hook, and straight left, and right uppercut, and left uppercut, and straight left, so he has a lot of diversity, and he has a lot of punch variety. But so does Anthony Joshua. But the question remains, is Oleksandr Usyk a person that Anthony Joshua has seen before? Has he dealt with a style like that before? And my answering, in my opinion, I don't think he has. Okay, sure, being in there with southpaws, you sparred Otto Vailene, you've been in there and went to war with Camarelli, and you knocked out Charles Martin. Yes, they're all southpaws, but I don't think he has a vast experience of fighting southpaws. Okay, because there's not a lot of them, again, and I just did a video about that last week, about the shortage of southpaws, right? So I don't think that is, at the end of the day, I don't think that Anthony Joshua's been in there with a guy like Oleksandr Usyk. Now, will he win? That's a totally different story. But you guys tell me what you think of Anthony Joshua saying that he don't bring nothing to the table I ain't seen before. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.